Oh, hello there. Please come. Please come sit, but shh, be quiet. We are having the most secret chess match ever today because I'm going to prepare for my great ASMR chess match, and nobody can know the ideas and the playstyle that I will test out. Only you and me and a few other ASMR chess fans. Only us can know, nobody else. So shh, please whisper. And the way we are going to test out these ideas and openings for this all-important ASMR chess match is we are going to use the ChessUp 2 board, and we are going to play online against real people, and I will test out my openings and my aggressive ideas. And we have an opponent here who opens the game with pawn to e4, and here, huge shock to everyone, I'm going to play the Sicilian defense. They play knight to c3, and here my preparation says that we can play pawn to d6. There are other options, but now that my opponent plays this Grand Prix attacking style with the pawn move, pawn to f4, we get some chances to explore the opening preparation. So we want to play in a very imaginative way, a very aggressive way, because the important part is to take a lot of risk and try out the ideas. It's not important if we win or lose. I play knight to c6 here. The important part is to test out the ideas and then learn from it. Did it work or didn't it work? So, because of course the great ASMR chess match, the most important chess match in the world, that's where it's important if we win or if we lose. Today, the important thing is that we try out the aggressive playstyle and the openings, and we learn what works and what does not work. We see knight to f3 here, and I have a lot of moves that I could play, but I think just knight to f6 is one of the book moves, and this is one of the openings that I have not studied that much, and I'm not sure that it is very likely that we will see this in the great ASMR chess match. After I play this move here with the knight coming to f6, we see the bishop coming out here to b5, bishop b5, played by white, pinning the knight to the king. Now here I'm going to play a very standard response. I am going to break the pin with bishop coming to d7, and now I expect we may see an exchange here. If we see a backwards move with the bishop, so that means my opponent has now lost a bit of time, because of course if the bishop wanted to go there, it could have done so immediately, and I suspect that a move such as knight coming to d4 could already start to give us some significant advantage. If you are new to the channel and you don't know who I am, or you don't know the chessboard here, what I can say is I am ASMR Chess. I play chess while doing ASMR. The clue is pretty much in the name. Welcome to the channel, welcome to the community. If you go to the comments, if you're new, you can hang out with the other awesome people community. We see white castles after I played knight to d4, and you will find the most wholesome community, I think, on the entire internet. In the comments, I don't know why, but I have been blessed with the most amazing community that I have ever seen anywhere on the internet. People are so nice, so kind, and you are so welcome. It doesn't matter if you even know how to play chess, or you could even be a grandmaster. I know this is insane, but world number 2, Fabiana Caruana, has watched one of my videos because I made a video called Only Super Grandmasters Can Solve This Chess Puzzle. And he was a super grandmaster, and he watched this to see if he could solve it, and he could. So that's, yeah, so you can, anybody, Fabiano if you're there, Magnus Carlsen if you're there, Kasparov if you are there, you're welcome. And yeah, everybody's welcome. And I play pawn to e6 here, and we see knight takes knight. This is very interesting because, of course, I will recapture with my pawn here, which immediately attacks their knight. And when the knight moves away, of course, I can contemplate coming right in and capturing this center pawn, which I think I will. I think this center pawn is more important than the pawn that they are attacking. While I contemplate that idea, I can also tell you that this board I'm playing on is the ChessUp 2, made by a guy called Jeff from Bright Labs. He invented it. It's a chess board, it's a chess computer. You can play online on chess.com. Right now I'm playing against Dodolon from Italy through chess.com. It can do basically everything. I have videos with all, like, it can teach you chess and strategy. It can do a million things basically, and it's awesome. And there's a link in the description if you want to buy it and save 10%. That's my little YouTuber spiel, because yeah, I'm trying to be a good professional YouTuber, you know. So that's and the board really is amazing. Yeah, I'm just going to come in and capture this pawn here. Of course, we will be equal on material after knight takes pawn, but I can maybe already consider some aggressive ideas, such as knight takes pawn, queen to b6, which would pin the knight, and then they would have to defend the knight. I think maybe a move like pawn to c3 would defend the knight, but then I would have pawn to e5 coming here, and they say pin and win. Okay, they immediately try to kick my knight away with this move. So they play pawn to d6 after I take their pawn on e4. You can see my knight here is attacked, and you can see all the squares that it can go to light up here. And I think just a very sensible, very easy thing to do would be to move the knight. But I am also seeing that this bishop can capture this knight, and this knight is no longer defended by this bishop after this pawn move. So maybe I can move this knight somewhere very aggressive, so I can have time to capture this other knight. I am not seeing any great squares right now. I am thinking about this idea of moving the knight. Knight takes pawn here. So maybe let's say knight to f6, knight takes pawn, and then queen to b6, kind of this kind of aggressive idea that we would like to play. Then I believe that we would see a bishop coming to e3 to defend the knight. And if I attack the knight could move to f6, defending the bishop, so I can't play queen takes bishop with check because I would lose the queen and my queen would have to move. So is there a way? Can I somehow move my knight in such a way as to prophylactically deal with that plan here? Oh, please be quiet. I know you want to scream in excitement with how exciting this chess match is, but of course it has to be super secret. Nobody can know until after I play the real match. I play knight to f6, so this has to stay. It has to stay a secret until I can reveal my attacking ideas and my preparation. So it's not a secret you have to keep forever, but I know my opponent's spies are everywhere trying to get my opening ideas, and therefore, oh, I see a good idea here, I think, and therefore we have to keep this secret until we can reveal all the amazing chess philosophy that we are developing together here. So I thought I had a great idea. I'm not sure how great it is. My idea is queen coming to b6. That's the kind of attacking move that I want to play. Then bishop coming to e6, e3 rather, defending the knight with this idea of playing knight to f5. But then I was thinking, okay, knight coming to d5 with an attack on the bishop, so that if the knight moves, I can then come in and capture the bishop. The bishop would probably have to move back, but then I could actually probably come in and capture this pawn down here, or I could do that immediately. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to play queen coming to b6 here, and you can see here that that the board is keeping track of the time. My opponent has 15 minutes left. I have 6 minutes and 40 seconds, but don't be alarmed. First of all, it doesn't matter if I lose on time, because we are here to explore the ideas, and also I get 10 seconds, we both do, every time we make a move, so I can start ramping up and playing more quickly later if I feel I need more time. Now I have to figure out if I want to play this knight move here, which I think I really want to. So that's what we're going to do. We are playing knight coming to d5 with an attack on this bishop. I'm pretty sure that the only reasonable move for white in this position is to drop the bishop back to f2 rather, coming here, maintaining an eye on the knight, maintaining an eye on the e3 square, which is now a pretty important square. And okay, we see something different. We see queen coming to defend like this, but I think I should be able to play knight takes bishop. We will do that. So we see queen d2 defending the bishop. I capture, and they recapture with the queen. So I played queen takes, I played knight takes e3, they play queen takes e6. which we are going to do in a way that you could argue is a little bit greedy. We play queen takes b2, but one of the small secret ideas that I have for my chess match, we see rook f coming to b1, is that I want to play some more greedy chess and think more about material, winning just a pawn and trying to get to the endgame, which is not in my style. Now they can come in and capture my pawn if I do not maintain the threat on the rook here, which is why I'm going to play queen coming to c3. And I have not calculated this whole line all the way to the end. I have just captured this pawn with the idea that it looked like it may work. And then I will see if I can survive my queen being exposed and me not having that much development of my pieces. But I have won this extra pawn. That is basically for me now the challenge in this game, is can I play where I am under pressure, but if I can absorb the pressure and neutralize all white's threats with all this development that white has going on. If I can successfully do that, I will have an endgame where I have an extra pawn, and that is a playstyle that was first developed by this guy called Wilhelm Steinitz. Some historians actually think that it's correct to say William Steinitz, but everywhere he's called Wilhelm Steinitz, who was the first chess world champion. I believe he became in like 1878 or in the late 1870s or early 1880s, I believe. He became the first chess world champion, and he, up until that point, until we saw him, players were not really that concerned with like just being ahead one pawn. They were more thinking about the stronger pieces, and they were more thinking about speculative attacks, beautiful tactics, inspired ideas going after the king, like fireworks on the board, like beautiful aesthetic ideas. But and we see bishop coming to f3, but he pioneered this idea of just as his opponent would say, stealing a pawn like a thief in the night, and then carrying it all the way to the end game, and then using that advantage in the end game where no more attacks against the king was really possible, to then steer the game to victory. Now we see bishop coming to f3. That comes with a threat on this b7 pawn, which we are going to defend with rook coming to b8. And I do realize that this pawn is attacked twice and only defended once. The bishop and the rook both attacking this. But let's say bishop takes, then rook takes, then rook takes. Now this rook is undefended here in the corner, and I will come and capture that with a check. So I believe I am still holding on to the pawn. But of course I do have, I don't have a lot of development going on. My king is not castled. This rook is not playing. Oh, wow, we see king coming to h1. That's a deep move. Wow. Okay, I think I will try to get castled. So I will play bishop coming to e7. This move is king coming to h1. Is of course the king is more safe there. There is no diagonal checks, but also it could be find an undefended spot. It could actually deliver checkmate. Now I'm very, very, very curious about what's going on here. We see rook coming to c1. That probably means this knight wants to move. I don't know where it wants to go. I will just play a bit of a quick move. I will just castle. And now all of a sudden I kind of solved all the problems. It seems like, okay, they play queen knight coming to e2. I think I will just I think I will play queen coming to c5, offering a queen trade, which I believe would benefit me since I am up a pawn. So getting the queens off reduces their attacking potential. And now I am under 3 minutes here. Yeah, I wish I could turn the screen around, but it automatically orients itself to the side that you are playing. So I'm playing black, so it turns like, okay, so they decline this. I will drop my queen further back to c7. Interestingly, my opponent has not been interested in capturing the a7 pawn with the queen. Maybe that would have been possible at an earlier stage. Okay, my opponent is out here gaining some space, but I think I can, for instance, play something like bishop coming to f6. I'm now going to not explain my moves in such great details until I have finished the game, because I don't have that much time, and I'm a pretty decent blitz player, so I can probably play an okay quality of moves from here on out. I am also pretty convinced that I successfully got a better position. I may mess it up, but my strategy seemed to work out. So yes, I will give some more superficial analysis for the remainder probably of this game, which I of course hope that you can live with. So my opponent's taking some time to think here. I'm considering how to develop my pieces. I'm pretty happy with having the two bishops, and I think a move like bishop to c6 could be pretty good. If bishop takes bishop, I have pawn takes, opening up the file for the rook, bringing a pawn closer to the center, which is generally good. And it doesn't seem that they can counter with, after bishop c6, it doesn't seem that they can play d5, because I have this tool, the pin, where this bishop on f6 pins the pawn on d4 to the rook on a1 down here. So I would come in and capture that rook, and of course the rook is stronger than the bishop, so that would be a winning exchange for me. Now I think I will play, after rook from a1 coming to b1, I will play rook on f8 to e8, and this is still with the idea of playing bishop coming to c6. Now if they try to shut it down with pawn to d5, which they have freed up now, I can play pawn takes pawn, opening up an attack from this rook on the queen. So they advance this pawn here. I think that I'm just going to drop my bishop. I'm not going to drop it all the way back. That seems a little wrong, so I'm just going to put it on e7. And now perhaps this pawn to d5 move could be possible, and we do c pawn to d5. And am I going to... I think I am going to just capture that, because I may have some discovered ideas. So we see a recapture like this, and I am thinking that maybe maybe I can play something like bishop takes on g5. Now I of course have a problem here, that these two bishops are attacked, and this so I will probably end up losing a bishop also, because this rook is pinning my bishop to the queen. So I may be in a bit of a tough spot here. Probably this is a losing mistake, that I allowed this to happen, which of course I can learn something from, but I'm still pretty satisfied with the game, and also just for good sportsmanship and the development of my own chess philosophy, I will of course play out the game, doing my best to win. So far I am very happy with how my strategy worked, and so I think I learned a lot. Of course, the chessboard saves the game automatically on the chess.com server, and you are on the chess.com server, you have all the tools, computer assistant analysis and coach and all this stuff that you can use to analyze the game. Okay, now my opponent moved out of the way. Now the question is, do I have some way to generate some kind of counterplay? I could I'm not sure really that I do. I'm not sure that I do. But of course, my idea is to then, after this session of playing all these games, I will analyze the games and check out the objective computer analysis against my own thoughts during the game, and then sort of be a little bit scientific about it. Now, what are we going to do here? Are we going to try to get an attack against the king, or maybe against this pawn down here? Maybe against this pawn down there. So I think a move that could potentially be interesting would be queen coming to a5. Okay. So now we will see pawn takes bishop, but will it be this pawn takes this bishop or this pawn takes this bishop? I don't know. So that will be interesting. Okay, we see this pawn captures this bishop. Now I want to save this. I am considering actually capturing here. Something recaptures, something captures here, but I don't think that's the best idea. I think I will drop the bishop back to this square, and my opponent has great advantage now, I believe, which is absolutely okay, and we will just try to continue fighting. I think the best move for my opponent, which I actually kind of missed before, may be to push this pawn. It is not immediately converting the advantage, but it is something that will be very hard to deal with term. Okay, we do see pawn takes pawn. Okay. Now, do we have... I think I will play queen takes pawn here. And the position, of course, is extremely difficult to deal with for me. But this is also a great opportunity for me to practice playing under pressure and keeping my head calm, trying to generate counterplay, because of course when I play the great ASMR chess match, the match of all time, the most important event in all of chess history, then I of course may come into situations where I have a worse position, where I am under pressure. Okay, we see queen takes pawn here, so it would be good with some amount of practice. Now let's try to be a little creative. Let's drop this bishop back like this. Actually, I believe queen takes rook wins the game for white here, but maybe my opponent will miss this move, or try to play something that looks a little more safe. My opponent could also just play rook to c8 right now, which looks crazy, but I think actually it may work. If it had not been for queen takes rook check, which just about saves the day actually. So we would be very happy to see that. And actually, queen takes rook, rook takes queen, rook, c8, check, bishop drops back, and then queens wins the game. So I think that's what they are contemplating. And I don't see a defense. If they do, okay, is there something queen takes? Is there anything? Then I play rook takes, rook check, bishop drops back, queens. I don't see any kind of defense against this. I don't see anything at all. Queen takes rook. Like, what could I... Because it even attacks this other rook. Queen on b8 even attacks this other rook. So I can't even play something crazy like queen takes rook on b1. I can't even do that. So the situation is dire. Not sure though why my opponent is taking this long. That's disturbing, or maybe they just want to be absolutely sure they have so much time. I think they can even play queen takes bishop, rook takes queen, rook check, rook drops back to block the check, rook takes rook, rook takes rook, and then queen. And I can't capture the queen because that would end in checkmate. So I'm getting... Okay, they do play that. They do play that. Can I, though, play queen takes rook here? Does that... Because now this rook is pinned. So they capture like this. And I capture like this. And they capture my queen. And I am completely done here. So I will resign this game. And thank you very much to our opponent. I will reset the board and I will play another match and see if I can learn even more. So what I feel I learned here was that it is of course risky to play in this greedy fashion, but I believe, and that's going to be very interesting when I analyze with the computer, I believe my idea was correct and that I made the mistakes as a result of the time situation where I did not have enough time. Of course, we will have, it will be much longer matches when we play the ASMR chess match, the match of all time. So I'll play a new game here. And we were searching for one. Okay, now I have the white pieces. I'm going to play pawn to d4. I kind of like how I have put the light set up here. So I am not going to orient the board. So even though I'm sitting here with the black pieces, I am actually playing with the white pieces. And this is pretty interesting. I've actually had a player play this e6 and c6 before in a video where I had a crushing position, then made a horrible mistake and ended up losing, but I was pretty happy with my play in that game. And I think what I can do here is that I can possibly play pawn to e4. I could also play knight to c3. This knight could come to c3 here on this square here. But since my opponent they have not played pawn to d5, I'm thinking they are not attacking this square. So maybe I should play pawn to e4. Let's say they then play this move and I advance. I think that just looks really, really good. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to play the pawn on from e2 to e4, keeping. Wow, they play pawn to d6. That's a very, very timid move. I think I will play bishop coming to d3. Now usually I would develop my knight before my bishop, but I may want to put this knight on f3 only after I've played pawn coming to f4, since this timid way my opponent is playing seems to give me a lot of aggressive options, which is pretty good. Of course, seeing that how I am interested in these greedy and aggressive, practicing these ideas and testing this new play style out. So these 3 pawn moves are pretty timid. They don't do that much. My opponent is now having a bit of a think. Yeah, I'm not sure what they are going to do. I could have maybe perhaps that they are playing in this manner to get me out of book, because this is not part of any chess theory. These moves for black are too weak in this position to be part of any chess opening that I have ever heard of, at least. Meaning that okay, they play pawn to h6. This is very, very, very timid now, and I will go ahead and play pawn to f4, because I just want to say black is not taking the space in the center, and then I will take the center, put these 4 menacing pawns in the center. We see queen coming here with a check. That's not a huge deal. Queen coming to h4. With a check, we will block the check with the pawn coming to g3, attacking the queen. The queen will now move back, and this game is going very, very well. I think I will play knight coming to f3, just because I could consider castling if I need to at some point, and I would like to get my knights out. I think the next move could probably be something like this knight coming to c3. I will say that if my opponent does not start playing some stronger moves soon, the educational value of this game could be in jeopardy, because so far my opponent has played some very weak moves that has not really helped them at all. So maybe we will have to create our own value. Okay, we see knight coming to f6. This comes with an attack on our e4 pawn, which is already defended. So I think just knight coming to c3, actually also defending this pawn further. And I will say that probably, okay, they play knight coming to a6. This move doesn't seem to do all that much. I'm going to now castle my king, and then I think it's probably time to try and generate some play against my opponent's king immediately, to basically try to knock my opponent out before they can stabilize. So moves such as pawn to f5 could probably be pretty good. Pawn takes, that's then maybe castles, and then yeah, that looks pretty good. Any pawn move here, pawn coming to e5, that doesn't seem to be doing that much. Pawn coming to d5 also doesn't seem to be doing that much. So I do think that the idea here is to play pawn to f5. And now, okay, we do see castles, and I'm even tempted to play bishop takes h6. I mean, I think like pawn coming to e5 now is probably very, very strong. Pawn coming to e5. Now this knight, we have to think, where is this knight really going? And I think we may see some sort of knockout blow against Black's position, but I'm of course thinking about creating value, educational value for myself and for the match. And okay, they play pawn takes pawn, and we play pawn takes pawn, renewing this threat. Okay, we do see bishop coming here with a check, which I think is absolutely fine. We will move the king out of the way, and I think king coming to g2 should be sufficient. And now talking about the about educational value, I could be in a situation where I get a very good position due to some opening trap that I have success with, or something of that nature. But then we have to, of course, convert the advantage into the full point, into actually winning the game. And yeah. The game is not over before it is over, of course, which is very, very important. So let's be very diligent, let's be very serious here, and see what kind of ideas our opponent could come up with. For instance, I'm thinking about the knight coming to b4. Okay, we are not seeing that. We see knight coming to h7. Now, I am very, very, very tempted to play bishop takes pawn. Very, very, very tempted. Bishop takes pawn, pawn takes, and then push this pawn here. Because their king is just so exposed, and it will be so hard for them to get out of that. I am, of course, giving up a bunch of material. So let's say bishop takes, and then they play something surprising like knight coming to b4. Is that a big problem? It could be. It could be pretty annoying. Whereas something just like an immediate pawn to f6, probably met by pawn takes and then bishop takes, and then the queen, then the rook moves, looks like a very solid advantage. That kind of looks like the same in a way. Let's say bishop takes, knight here. It's just this knight move here that I don't like. So I think I will just play pawn to f6. But just the idea to break the situation. And now if we see knight coming to b4, I'm actually thinking about dropping this knight back to e1, defending the bishop, so the knight and the queen would be coordinating on this bishop. Okay, we see knight takes pawn. Of course, we will recapture that with our own pawn, and then probably we see queen takes. And now we may have some nice discovered attacks with our knight. Although it doesn't exactly look like it. However, this knight move here seems very intuitive. Just hitting the queen, hitting this bishop. The queen has to drop back to this square. And I'm not like I could capture that bishop, but I don't actually really feel like it. I feel more like advancing this knight. Yes, because knight coming here gives me, I think, some very, very strong attacking ideas with this bishop takes pawn on h6, pawn takes pawn, knight, check, king moves, and when the queen is thus cut off, then some queen, or maybe immediately, like bishop takes pawn takes queen, check could also actually be winning on the spot. So I think we have an absolutely excellent position, and I'm very curious to see what my opponent will come up with from here. Yeah, let's see. It's actually pretty hard to come up with anything. You see, we have the same kind of situation where I was on the receiving end of a lot of activity in the last game, but in that game I had the argument that I had one pawn at least. So we see bishop coming here is a pretty nice idea, I would say. Trying to get the situation under control. I mean, I could even play knight check, because pawn takes, cutting off the queen, queen check, king moves, knight check maybe, but then pawn takes, and then rook takes rook. I mean, it looks like we are pretty close to just straight up winning the game. I'm also considering queen coming here immediately, but then I'm a little bit afraid of the move pawn to f5. I'm also considering bishop takes immediately, bishop takes the knight here, and then gaining a bit of control on the dark squares, which I don't like. So this is probably the educational value that we want to create. So we are thinking about playing this knight here to the f6 square right there with a check. Now if queen takes, rook takes, then we win, and then we win. So pawn takes, and then I'm thinking about queen check, and it just looks very, 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 very strong. It just looks very, very, very strong. So I think actually, in the name of science, that is what we are going to do. We are going to play this pretty speculative move, knight to f6 check. And I mean, if you will take a look at this position, it's pretty great. Like, chess is a very beautiful game, really. There's not a lot of possible moves. The king could just move out of the way to h8, not h7, defending this pawn, because that's taken care of by the knight. If the king moves out of the way, then we may even, if there's a lot of crazy stuff we could consider. If we do see pawn takes, I'm actually also, after pawn takes, considering bishop takes, pawn on h6, because if then something like, okay, the king just moves. Okay, wow. Okay, now now it's time to have some serious fun. If we could safely play knight to g6, that would be checkmate. Okay, so that would be pretty amazing. That would be pretty amazing. I mean, what kind of moves can we play here? I mean, there's so much stuff that we can do, it's pretty crazy. We could play queen coming here, that would defend this knight. It would also threaten queen here, and if pawn takes, then knight takes, checkmate. And then if not pawn takes, queen here, checkmate. I think that's a great way to play. I think actually that's really nice. And queen here, if pawn takes, then just queen takes, checkmate, or like king moves and then checkmate. So I think queen coming here is just about the end of the game. And if bishop takes knight, of course we could play queen takes bishop, but we could also consider bishop takes h6. Okay, that is what we're seeing. So maybe in this position, what we want to do is play bishop takes h6, because if then anything captures this knight, we just move the bishop with check and we checkmate. So I don't think there is a way out of that. So bishop coming in here, sacrificing this game is pretty great from like a let's say sacrificial standpoint. We come in here, we capture this, have a lot of pieces in trouble. It's very important, of course, that we do have some answers to pawn coming to g6. Okay, we see bishop takes here. Now, I think that we have checkmate in 2 moves. So we just move this bishop, let's say here, and that's check. And the king only has 1 legal move, that is coming to g8. Of course, this bishop, very importantly, covers the h7 square. So we see the opponent resigned there, because if the king does come to g8, after this check, we will come here, and that is going to be checkmate, a very classic pattern. Queen on h7 backed up by a bishop on d3, very classic kind of checkmate against the castle king. However, of course, the way that we got to that situation was pretty non-standard, but I would say also quite interesting. Now I will return, of course, with more games. Right now I have some work to do to earn a little bit of money, trying to pay the rent, because some people think you get rich from doing YouTube. You don't. I mean, some people get really rich, but if you do ASMR chess videos for the most wholesome people in the world, you get a lot of love, and you get to do something that's really meaningful, and you do make I do make some money, and I'm so thankful and happy for also all the support and everybody like donating on Patreon. I'm not saying that I'm unhappy at all. I love this, and it's very meaningful. It gives me a lot of satisfaction. I love reading the comments from all you awesome people who are happy that you know that I make the videos and all of that. But I live in Denmark. And like all my family and all the people that I have responsibility for also live in Denmark. So, and that is like one of the most expensive countries in the world. So I'll have to go out and do something way less meaningful. But that will help me pay the bills. And then I will come back and record more. And if you can see the video is hours more longer than this, that means it will be one giant video. And if the video ends here, I just want to say the next installment of this secret chess match preparation will come in a future video, and I'm so super happy that you were along for the ride so far. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye. Okay, I'm back, and let's just continue the search for truth in this super secret chess match. Okay, here we have the black pieces. We face pawn to e4. We will continue practicing our Sicilian. We are going to play pawn to d6. So we have a classic Sicilian. Now we see bishop to c4, to which I will reply knight coming to f6 with an attack on this pawn. This is quite interesting. The pawn is not defended, but if I come in and capture it like this, we could say bishop takes pawn here, king takes, and some knight check perhaps, or it looks like one of these. It looks like a trap. But why is it I can't because knight takes queen here, but that doesn't stop. Like, why is it I can't take that? Check takes, then queen check, block with the bishop, then bishop takes here, king takes, and then we take like this. So I think we will just play this move, knight to c6. So now I think I am really threatening to capture this pawn. So I suspect we will see pawn coming to d3. Our opponent has a pretty high hit rating. Zach Frog from the United States with a rating of 1792. So a pretty strong player. I'm very curious. It's a very important moment because right now I have sort of a archetypal, sort of a Sicilian type setup, but I don't know if I will get an open Sicilian where my opponent somehow manages to play pawn to d4. I don't know if I will play pawn coming to e6, which is one of the very standard ways to go, or if I will get into more like a dragon type setup with a move like pawn coming to g6. Now we see this queen coming to e2, and this move kind of reminds me of the Smith-Morra, except they haven't played the setup with the bishop, the knight, and the queen is and pawn to c6, all Smith-Morra type moves, but that would have required a pawn coming to d4 much earlier. I am thinking that the move bishop coming to g4 is probably pretty good. So I think we are playing that. With this pin, probably we will see pawn to h3, then bishop takes knight, queen takes, and then oh wow, we see just castles. I don't think that is a particularly good move. I will come in immediately, exploiting this pin against the knight, and simultaneously attacking this bishop. So now I think my opponent is actually maybe in a bit of trouble. Of course, we could say bishop coming to b5 with a check. Okay, we do see. Okay, I see what's going on here. This is a huge trap, and I am actually just losing the game here. I mean, I have to capture this knight, because if I capture the queen, bishop takes here is actually going to be checkmate. So I will capture like this, and of course the game is not necessarily lost, but this is very good, because this is something that I really should be thinking more about, this type of trap. This is a very common idea, and I think, yeah, we do see this And I will just drop this bishop back like so, stop more potential checks here, and my position is a little bit worse, but it could have been much worse. So now we have a nice opportunity to practice playing uphill. It's going to be an uphill battle now. Hello. And I mean, we do see this pawn coming to d4. Of course, we always play c takes d in the Sicilian. Okay, we see pawn takes again. Pretty sure I have to capture this, so I'm actually quite curious of so I mean, how dangerous is this situation? My opponent is very strong tactically. Are we going to try to give some material back with a move like pawn to b5, bishop takes, queen takes, check, and then blocking with the knight? Then probably e6, pawn takes. Or we could play an immediate knight coming to g8. Then probably this pawn advances. We could try to give up this pawn with something like pawn coming to d3. Let's say queen takes. Then that doesn't seem to work at all. I think we will try the more aggressive option here. But this position is it's quite difficult. It is really quite difficult, but let's see. If we see pawn takes, we just play pawn takes. Giving the material back like that, position is still tough, but it should be manageable. And in actuality, we may have a trick if bishop takes. Maybe we can push this pawn on, because if queen takes, then queen check, followed by capturing the bishop. So probably they would play bishop takes, we push this pawn, they capture our bishop like with a check. Then we recapture probably with the knight. And then if they capture our pawn, we can capture that pawn here, which I actually think is kind of an okay position, equal on material. very tough to deal with this situation where we fell into this opening trap. So wow, the bishop is actually just dropping back like this. That is well, that is really quite surprising. Because I think I may be able here to play queen to b6, because if pawn takes, I push this pawn, that's going to be check. Of course the queen can block the check, so okay, that does not work. So they are keeping all the threats going. Okay. How do we... is it time to just move this knight out of the way? It could be. Would there be any point to pushing this pawn here? Queen takes. I don't think we are getting any sort of benefit from that, so I think I will just play the knight back like this, and then they can play this. Wow. So they... what is this move about? What is this move about? That doesn't look like it does anything except, well, I mean, it threatens this pawn, but I don't care about that pawn really. What I care about is playing pawn to e6. My rook is well defended. What's going on with this move? That move didn't make any sense to me at all. I'm pretty sure pawn to e6 would have been... okay, they do capture this. And I mean, we are now equal on material, but I can start generating my own threats. We go queen to c7, threatening a nasty bishop to c5, pinning the queen to the king, winning on the spot, and I think a move probably to stop that would be bishop coming to e3, so that if I play bishop here, they can take, so they end up winning that exchange. Then I could counter that, maybe rook c8, renewing the threat. And I also have ideas of like knight e7 with the idea of coming to f5. I think this would be a very nice outpost square for the knight. Probably my opponent would very much like to play rook coming to d1 with the idea of potentially capturing this bishop at some point. They don't have time for that at all. And I actually suddenly quite like my position, to be honest. I think maybe my opponent has a bit more development. Okay, they do play this bishop out, like we talked about. I'm thinking, can I play rook c8 now? c1, and then queen takes rook, bishop takes rook, rook takes, that's check, and then the king will have to move, and then I play bishop c5, winning. So I think actually rook c8 still works. So this is a very crucial point in the game. I think I've, like a couple of times in this match, this secret chess match so far, I've had issues with development. So I want to be greedy, that's one of the things I want to practice, but it seems that I'm, oh wow, seems that I'm not really good enough at getting my pieces developed. Okay, so I did lose that pawn. So I could then play queen takes, bishop takes, and then the bishop will no longer look at h6, so I could play knight h6 there. I could play knight h6 immediately. That doesn't seem that good. I could play bishop c5. Let's say queen takes, bishop takes, rook takes, coming with a threat on this pawn. It looks pretty good. Or we could play queen takes, bishop check, bishop takes, rook takes. That's more forcing. Let's say takes, then check, takes, rook takes, coming with a threat here. We are down, of course, we are down a pawn, but I think I will try to save the game being down a pawn. So I think we are playing queen takes queen, bishop takes queen, and bishop c5 check, bishop takes, and then rook takes bishop, with this idea of, okay, they like this, and then the plan was knight coming here, and we see this knight to c3, and I think I will need probably to play this knight to f5, and now of course the real concern is if they will play pawn to g4, kicking away this knight, but I think I can. Okay, they do come in immediately here, so I still have this square under control, kind of. So let's drop this rook to here. Okay, they do play g4, kicking away the knight, and then the idea was knight here, and we're trying to, basically it's all about not getting them. Okay, we do get this check immediately. We advance this, and now what is their plan? The rook comes here, and I'm then thinking that I can capture like this, getting back equal material, and maybe maneuvering this knight. Okay, we get this. Okay, so they're trying to win back a pawn, like capturing here. We don't really like that. But what we can do is probably defend the knight like this. They will kick it like so. And thanks. And then the idea was to come here, so keeping a bit of defense of this pawn going on. So the position is pretty tough. Position is still pretty tough. They do capture. Okay. Okay, so where do we go from here? I think we will try to get rid of this rook here, like this. So we are down a pawn, but we are trying to simplify the position, and a drop from this position would be amazing. And okay, they do capture. Probably the only move we recapture like so. And okay, they are trying to renew this threat. So probably we will have to activate the knight like so. And we have one pawn versus one pawn here, 2 versus 2, so the long-term problem is these two versus this one. So if we can neutralize the pressure, we can start focusing on that. What could be a way to try to neutralize that pressure? Well, maybe like this, trying to exchange this knight. Of course, our pawn structure will suffer, but the position is getting easier. Although maybe just rook coming to g5 is going to win a pawn for them. I'm not seeing any way to defend that. not sure how we could try to create counterplay. Maybe we can try to get the b2 pawn, but takes a long time because of this very strong bishop on b3. So what will they play here? I'm not seeing any argument against rook coming to g5. Then maybe we play h4, then rook h5. Then rook c1, rook takes pawn on h4, bishop c6, or rook b1, probably rook b1. Then we can win that pawn. If we win that pawn, we may still be in the game just a little bit. So my opponent could also try here something deep. Okay, we do see this, so we have a plan against this. Here in rook c1. Okay, there we capture like this, and then the plan was rook b1. Okay. So now what? Okay, the rook attacks like that. We will capture this with check. Okay, the king comes here. Let's get behind this pawn. So they are up just this one pawn here. But maybe we can try to activate here, check. Okay, king comes here. It's pretty interesting. I mean, if I could come back with the bishop, with the idea of coming here, I think we're doing that. We're doing this. We actually kind of long-term going after the a2 pawn. Because I don't think they can really save that pawn if I get bishop e6 in, takes, king takes. Okay, comes here. So that's what we are doing. Like so. Okay, bishop takes. Am I capturing with the king or with the pawn here? I have 4 minutes, so let's think about it a little bit. If I capture with the pawn, I need my king to get to this square. Otherwise, my king is cut off. If I capture with the king, my king can pretty easily get to this square. Which seems pretty good. Pawn takes, check. The thing is, I have to go, if they give that check, I have to go backwards. So I will capture with the king. And we do see the check. And I will advance. And if the rook here leaves, this, I mean, like so. We're trying to zugzwang them. So this endgame is okay. We get here, so we can at the very least, we can get this pawn over here with this check. I think probably my opponent should have tried some rook check here. First, okay, we do see this. I think we will get behind the pawn again. And I think we have a pretty good position here. So is my opponent trying to draw the game now? I mean, we may be pretty happy with that. Or we may even try to win from here. I think a pretty strong move, if I were to play from this position, would be something like king coming to e4. This. That's pretty interesting. I think king e4 is pretty good, or maybe b4 takes, b3, rook comes behind. I mean, it's actually pretty close. Here takes, here rook behind, takes, or king e4 takes, check, king moves. Oh, that's not check, but check. I mean, I could. I think I'll just go back. I'm actually pretty curious as to how my opponent is going to make progress here. Okay, so this is check. We go to d5 again. It's very hard for me to try to win, I think, also with this little time, but getting a draw here. Okay, we do see this. And then probably I mean, we could start pushing this other pawn. Push takes push here. Or we could just capture this. I think we just capture this, I mean. Okay, when they capture like that. I mean, like, maybe we just do this, or like this, even. Oh, I think we try this. Try to keep the pawns under control. Okay, they go for the check. I go. Do I advance or do I go back? I'm not sure why it feels better to advance. I advance. I want to keep my king centralized. But this, well, is okay. This check is pretty interesting because here and now they can't get behind my pawn here. Okay, like this. I just advance, I think. It's very tough. It's very tough. But like if they advance, I have rook h7. I can even play rook h6 now. Okay. So rook h7. Stopping the pawn. Okay. Like so. And we go rook h8. Okay, they advance. And that's the game, I think. guess we can get anywhere with our pawn, queen. Well, here. I think we try that, like so. And this. And then here. Oh. Oh, we have things like this. Because they have to take my rook first. So I queen first. So I queen first. Then they queen. Then I play this check. They go here and I play this check. Okay, they do capture this. I queen. Check. Check here. Okay. The queen. Check. King comes here. I don't know, check. Well, this is pretty crazy. Check. Here. Check. Comes here. We still just trying to check. Now we have some more time as well. Okay, the king comes here. Okay, if you throw this check queen here. This check. Queen comes here. This check. I think we try this check. Okay, the king comes here. Are we running out of checks? Not sure, we try this one. Okay, they do this. This check maybe. I mean, they could even lose this if they do it the wrong way. They can't move the king forward here. Or can they? Maybe they can. Can they move the king forward? Maybe that's actually the win. No. I mean, it's actually a little tough to escape the checks. What a crazy situation. What a just absolutely crazy situation. I mean, they kind of have to move the king forward, because otherwise I'll just take the rook. And if they do that... Okay, they do this. So I play this check. And the king comes here. So I play this check. It's kind of the same thing, I think. Okay, but now this check is winning, I think. So I think I'm winning this game. What? My God, that is insane. That is the most insane thing ever. What? What? Babe. What? I won. Oh my God, that was insane. That was insane. What? What a game. What a game. Never give up. Never surrender. Never give up. Never surrender. Oh my God, that was insane. So the point is, like, they have to move. They only have this move here, and I just take the queen. What? My God. Wow. Don't you just love chess? Don't you just love chess? Wow, somebody, yeah. Wow, okay. So I'll go out, stretch my legs, and come back, put some more power to the to all the lighting, because some of it went out during the game, and then yeah, then we'll play some more. Oh my God, that was amazing. So now I have got the lighting up again. This microphone here is working. This one is working. We will put up the pieces. We will search for a new game. And the board tells us to get ready. By the way, the board knows which piece is which. So it'll say the king is not supposed there, it's supposed to be there. That's pretty cool. We'll put up like so. Putting up the pieces. Putting up the pieces. I have put up chess pieces many times. And I never get tired. I never tire of this process. I mean, it's just, I don't know, creates order in a way. I just love chess. It's just like, how many years have I been doing this? I've had the channel for 11 years. I've been playing chess for, oh, that's not right. Maybe, yeah, like, been pretty nerdy about chess for 20 years maybe. And just never getting tired. Okay, we have the black pieces again. Okay, let's see if we learned something from the last game. We see e4, c5, the Sicilian defense. Let's see here. So, okay, they choose standard variation. We play d6. Now, okay, we see the open Sicilian this time. We just capture this pawn. Have a pretty strong opponent again. Ari trapped 1764, and it's a little weird that they don't capture this pawn immediately with the knight. I mean, that's certainly the correct move in this position. It's been played billions of times before. It's like what grandmasters play, and the book move is knight to f6. It's like my go-to setup. I mean, if you're really advanced, you could have played pawn to a6 or something. But this just immediately attacks this pawn. We have the open Sicilian. The standard way to protect this pawn would be this knight coming to c3. I'm not sure why my opponent is taking so long. on these moves. Okay, now we do see this, and I think here we will go for the dragon. The dragon, which is my biggest video, one of my biggest videos on the channel, is my video on the dragon. Okay, they are playing in this manner, which is a little bit surprising. I think we will block like so. And they capture, and we have this pretty unique position, and I think I'll just recapture with the knight with this one. I think this exchange of light squared bishop, they castle. Now we just play bishop to g7, no problem. I think this exchange of their light squared bishop makes my life a little easier. And then here we castle, they play bishop e3, and we castle now. So we have a bit of a non-standard setup for the Sicilian dragon. They're not going for any type of Yugoslav attack with like long castle. They don't have a bishop on c4. And my knight, okay, we get this. I mean, they play h3, I'm going to play just like either I play h6 or I play the immediate rook c8. Yeah, I think the immediate rook c8 is probably pretty good. Also, I could have played a6 just to make sure we control the b5 square rather. And I'm honestly a little curious as to what white is really doing with some of these moves. But what they have succeeded in is to take me out of book. That is for certain. I mean, from here we probably play a6, so we don't have any bishop takes a7. We control the b5 square. We can potentially support a b5 move ourselves. So they are sort of preemptively, they're trying to stop that. And yeah. So what do we really want to do here? What could be a way to develop our game plan? Maybe knight to e5 with the idea of coming here. Potentially we could sack the rook to get this pawn, but I don't see any sort of added benefit. I mean, we do get, let's actually consider that rook takes, pawn takes, bishop, knight takes here. Then we are going to win this pawn as well. Rook takes, pawn takes, knight takes. Then we have the knight and the bishop looking at this pawn. The pawn can't move because we eat this rook here. It seems pretty unnecessary though. takes, knight takes. If that knight had some other threat going on. Is there something in that position that's really nice for us? I don't really think so, so I think I'll just play b5. I don't... Maybe if we see something like f4, we can consider sacking the rook like that. f4, rook takes, pawn takes, knight takes, pawn. We could also just go knight e5 with the idea knight c4, knight e5 to knight c4. Okay, our opponent has left the game, and it says it will auto abort in 1 minute and a half. So that's a thing, of course, that happens on chess.com sometimes, that opponents lose connection or something. That would happen also if you're just playing on your computer. So maybe they can get back, maybe they can't. If they can't, I think I will load the position. Okay, they are back now. Otherwise, I think I would have loaded the position into the computer, just on the board, and have Stockfish, the local Stockfish, evaluated to see. I think the position is pretty good for black. I don't think I'm winning or anything, but I think I'm quite comfortable. I'm not. I don't see that much going on for. Okay, now certainly I will play knight e5 because they play queen d2, and knight e5 comes with a pretty significant threat of bishop of knight c4, forking these two pieces. And if I get rid of the queen would move. If I get rid of the dark squared bishop, this dragon bishop here will start breathing fire and become a very, very strong piece unopposed. There will be no schism in the church. There will be no bishops arguing about supremacy on the dark squares. Okay, the queen moves. Is it now time? No. I think still the bishop comes, or the knight comes to c5. And this rook comes to b1, defending the b2 pawn. And I think I can pretty safely play knight takes bishop here. Should be sort of a positional advantage a little bit. I'm pretty sure we will see queen takes knight. I think pawn takes knight would be a big mistake. Okay, we do see queen takes, and maybe I can play rook c4. I mean, probably not. It's probably not really doing anything. I mean, I'm not sure what. Yeah, I'm not sure what it's supposed to be doing. That type of move. actually not sure about like the way forward here, but I am thinking about getting the queen out of the way. Are we seeing something like that? What they want to do maybe is play the pawn to e4. Is that sort of the idea? Is that something they are going for? I think it may be. And if that's the case, I think I want my queen on c7. So we don't have any rook d1 pins or something annoying going on. So we have quite a bit of positional advantage here, I would say. But of course, there's also not anything very concrete to play for. It's the roughly balanced position. They have the knight, I have the dragon bishop breathing fire, slicing with a laser vision on the longest diagonal here on the board quite beautifully. They have a little bit more center control in terms of pawns. We are equal on material. We have a 3-2 pawn majority on the queen side for white, and we have a 5-4 pawn majority on the king side for black. I am struggling to find other significant positional factors to try to understand. I'm considering trying to improve my bishop. Maybe something like knight d7 with trying to reroute the knight in some way. Also opening up the bishop a little bit. It does come with the threat of winning a pawn, but as soon as I move this knight, I give up this very important square that this knight can come in. So before I could play that, I would have to play pawn to e6. Pawn to e6 would weaken the d6 pawn. How much would it weaken it? Not sure, maybe not that much. So maybe pawn to e6 is something I could be considering. Could I consider a move like pawn to a5? Because if knight takes pawn, then queen takes pawn here. Rook attacks the queen, and then perhaps queen takes pawn here. Maybe actually that's pretty good. Maybe that is pretty good. Pawn to a5. Pawn to a5. So this knight can't capture, is protected by the queens. Pretty nice. If they do something else, I can push this pawn, push this knight away. That would be a significant positional win. So so I'm pretty strongly considering pawn to a5. Knight takes, queen takes, pawn here. That comes with the threat of attacking up here. This knight is also under attack in that position. It is defended by the queen, however. And this knight, the knight here. Okay, so pawn to a5 is okay. Maybe that's all going out the window. Now let's see. Pawn to a5. If this push takes. Wow, okay, so there's a lot of stuff is going on here. I think they really want to win this square, so I think actually the idea of going pawn to a5 is a pretty strong one at this point. So I think we actually will try this. We have to remember after this f4 move, the diagonal towards the king is exposed. This bishop breathing fire, the dragon, could pretty quickly pin the king, the queen to the king, give a deadly check. A lot of stuff could happen. We are also technically up on time, which is a first. And let's say they do advance the pawn takes, and then we play. Okay, they will advance the pawn. Let's say that's what they do. I think that's the critical variation. They advance the pawn. They want to get access to this square for their knight. Let's say we move the knight to d7. They come in with their knight here, threatening something here. Check. So as we come in and capture here, they can come and attack here. So I think instead of the a5 move, a nice move would have been rook on f to e8, protecting this pawn. Because if we do see the move here, then we may have to play something rather awkward, like knight to e8. Which should hold the position together, I think. So they play pawn to e5, knight e8, just about holding everything nicely together. Okay, they come in with this instead. So okay, they play pressure on c2 with an idea of potentially capturing on e4. So they sort of protect that. Now, can we not just take that pawn, queen takes, and then take this knight? That would be undefended then. I think that's what we're doing. Like so. Because if queen takes, then queen takes knight here. And they don't have time to capture this pawn because I will also be attacking this. Unless there is some sort of this knight here. But then I have multiple ways to save that. So here, or do I? Well, the first idea. Okay, let's think about it. Maybe we are not saving this. Bishop takes knight. Knight takes bishop. And we're in the same sort of problem again. Then my first idea I thought was queen c5, I thought was really good. But maybe that doesn't do anything. There's also like something pretty advanced like queen c4, queen takes knight a4. But I think some kind of rook to c1 may be really good there. So queen c4. If just queen takes, then a4. Rook attacks here. I go somewhere. I can't go anywhere really to maintain the threat. Okay, so that's a problem. Okay, bishop takes knight, knight takes bishop. queen. This is very tough. Bishop takes knight. Knight takes bishop. Maybe queen here. Queen takes and then rook trying to, but then they push here. Okay, we'll try this. Okay, this is very tough now. But let's see what we can get from this position. We're still up on time a little bit. And the knight takes here. So the idea was to play queen here and potentially some e5, pawn takes. Okay, they have this. Okay, so now we could play rook here. If pawn here, then takes. And then they defend maybe like this. I think we will have to try it. So the greed is real. And they do play this. The idea was to capture here. They capture this. Capture like this, and I actually end up just down a rook. So this is absolutely resignable now. And I think I will resign this. So well played to my opponent. And I think I will stop for now and maybe return later, getting a bit tired, as I hope you are as well. Thanks for watching. See you.